Alright everybody, welcome to a night stream here. Today we're going to be streaming on Draftkings. We've heard that, sometimes the night rooms can be a bit spicy, so we're going to dive right in here, see what the fuss is about. Hopefully, catch some people off guard. Of course, it's like a room that needs to be filled here, so let's go ahead and check in on our 555 draft that we got going on in the slow world. I think the last time I brought this up, we had selected, I think Caleb maybe? Can't remember. But right now we have Lamb, Walker, Loveland, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Jarian Price. We got Caleb Williams at 82, which feels very good. RJ Harvey at 87, Kenneth Gainwell at 106, Jordan Love at 111. We're about to pick here at 130. So feels pretty good about how this team is going here. We, could stop at 2 with this quarterback room. We also could add a third potentially. But the way the room has been kind of grabbing quarterbacks the last couple of rounds here, do feel good about the pick of Love at 111. I guess we'll see what Bayreuth wants to do. They got a 1-3-5-1 going here, so might take a second quarterback potentially. Maybe Cam Ward for their Tennessee stuff they got going on here, but I think what we're gonna do, if he's available, is get Mr. Diggs, probably at 130. Drafter to our right has a 2-5-2 or a 2-5-2-1 going on. They started out with 5 running backs. Their only receivers right now are Romadunze and Xavier Worthy. So I'm guessing they are going to be drafting a lot of receivers down the stretch here. So we will use that information to our advantage. Looks like we have 5 out of 12 here for a Millionaire draft on Draftkings. So anyone does want to join, it is wide open for you. Yeah, I haven't heard of these people, but typically don't on Draftkings. Sergeant Rocket, Moore family, Jeffrey Weasel, and JB Dawson are eagerly awaiting this draft to start, as are we. But yeah, okay. So we can go ahead and do this live on air here. Our 555 next pick. Looks like Bayreuth grabbed the second tight end. They may be pushing Cam Ward to 136. But they do get Jake Ferguson as their second tight end, so which is a little interesting because they have Lamar, have T. Higgins, week 17, like that, but they also had Mark Andrews available for a stack, so it is an interesting decision by them to take Jake Ferguson over Mark Andrews, but that's all right. I think we're going to go ahead and make our pick now. Why not? Why wait? Don't really love Concepcion. I think I like the other Cleveland receivers that cost better. He's kind of slipping a little bit too. These tight ends are fine. I mean, likely would give us correlation with Lamb. Andrews, I do like here as well, but we, starting with Loveland, I think we can push around a bit. Don't like Jalen Coker or Higgins at all. Still think Diggs is the best click here in the 130s. And we know that our friend to the right here is definitely going to be probably ripping, I'm guessing, 2 receivers, but he's drafted pretty strange so far. So, and then Maniac It's definitely going to be looking for a running back, I'm guessing, at this point. Probably a second quarterback as well. Does have a Pittsburgh thing going on, so we could see maybe Aaron Rodgers. Looks like our draft is loaded here, so let's go ahead and make our Diggs selection here. So this is our first high stakes draft of the year. So far we got Lamb, Walker, Loveland, Wilson, Watson, Price, Caleb, RJ Harvey, Kenneth Gainwell, Jordan Love, and now Stephon Diggs. So 2-4-4-1. Good start there. And we drew the 4-hole for our regular Millionaire draft here. Looks like some names I don't recognize, so we'll see how crazy they want to get tonight. Not a lot of relevant fantasy news today, really, so a little sad. Hoping for maybe a big free agent signing or something to go down, but might have to wait till maybe later this week. Well, who knows? So we have the 4-hole, so guessing Puka, Chase, JSN. Still haven't had one of these top 2 running backs fall to me at 4 yet, so might just be a dream for that to happen. But you know, we're under the moonlit sky here on Draftkings. Anything can happen. And we do have a guy named Jeffrey Weasel next to us. Sounds a little unhinged. We don't have any. That might be a dog in that guy's picture. I'm not sure, but usually we have at least one dog drafter. All right, so we have Puka go at 3. So go ahead and grab Chase at 4. I think so far I'm pretty even on my Puka, Chase, JSN exposure, so just trying to keep those kind of, I guess, level, because I don't really have a strong, huge conviction on either one of those 3. I think they're all good clicks when you can click on them, but not really trying to take a stand on any of those guys at this point. Have been seeing Lamar fall a bit, but I do like to take him when I do have Chase, in the early 50s sometimes, so could be what we do. So Jefferson goes to Sergeant Rocket at 7. It's like maybe a receiver heavy room starting here. Let's see what number draft this is for us. I think we're at 86 or so. 85. So this is number 85 for us. So JT at 10. That's pretty good fall on him. But, pretty standard to see any of those top 10 guys kind of. After the top 5, it kind of becomes a free-for-all, on all those names, so. Typically do Bowers if he's available at 21, or maybe AJ Brown. I probably don't have any AJ Brown Chase starts, so Wouldn't mind that. Maybe trying to grab a running back at 28. Cooking Ginty's a nice start for a Crossi 60. Seems like a pretty reasonable draft room so far. No, no Josh Allen, James Cook starts, or Lamar in the first round. So maybe all the hype about the Draftkings night draft rooms are overblown. So Brock Bowers goes at 16 to Rare P. Pairs him with Amon-Ra. So it's a good start. Pretty rare to see Amon-Ra at 9 after Lamb and Jefferson, but and then McBride goes right away to Sporting Kid. So maybe I spoke too soon. This could be a crazy room. Haven't seen McBride go at 17 in a very long time. Probably since May, where he used to go ahead of Bowers for a while. See if we can get Loveland at 45 potentially, but if the room's, more tight end hungry than usual, we might not. H-An at 18 is good with the Jefferson drafter. See if we can get A.J. Brown to fall at 21. I did a Drake May and Brown and Travion Henderson team this morning. That felt pretty good. It was on, I think it was in the 10 hole, I want to say. Pulled A.J. Brown up because, haven't drafted a ton of him so far. Again, I took him in like the mid-30s when he'd fall, but all right, Hampton goes. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab A.J. here. Start chase A.J. Brown. It's a different combo I don't think I have, so. See what running back we could get second round. Could do Brees or, nice for Jeremiah Love to fall a bit as well, but typically he's a 2-3 turn guy. We'll see. So Puka Henry to the 3 hole. Then we got 3 receivers in a row: Nico, Olave, and Smith, Pickens. So good for us who want a running back here. Potentially Love. So Dawson grabs Kyron, setting up a little bit of a Rams double stack there. So yeah, let's go ahead and grab Jeremiah Love. I think it's a good click for him there at 28. It's definitely not a combo I have at all. Chase, Brown, and Love. It's a good start. I think Love in the 3rd round is just a really good pick. So happy to get him there. See if we can grab Loveland at 45 would be nice, or even Burden, but it's been hard to get Burden anywhere in the mid-40s these days. And I guess Loveland just goes higher on Draftkings than he does Underdog, so. Labaconki 29. Jeffrey Weasel is setting up a Chargers stack. Sergeant Rocket continues the good start. Jefferson, H-N, and Brees Hall. Do like that. Gets a little week 17 with Jettas and the Jets. Do like that a good bit. See where Blake Neighbors goes in this draft. He's been kind of all over the place. I have seen a couple people on Twitter post, you know, him in the 4th, even like a couple 5th round falls. So I would definitely take him at 45 if he were to fall there, but I haven't seen it personally. Yeah, it goes 35 to Akrosi. And then we got more family in the 12 hole doing the 4 running back start. Barkley, Walker, Etienne, and Javonte. So nothing too crazy in this draft. This feels like I'm drafting in the morning, so. Loveland is still a chance that he comes back to us. Would be very nice. Scadaboo at 40, so maybe we see Scadaboo rise a bit since he was running out there on the field. It's kind of the big news today. He was, I saw him like he was running pretty good, but I guess people are getting excited for that. I'm, you know, just clicking him a lot. He's one of my highest exposed guys. I think more on Underdog just because he does go a little higher on Draftkings. Jacobs at 41. So we might be able to squeeze Loveland in. Potentially. Which would be nice. So far, you know, every guy we've said we wanted has worked out. Ted McMillan, the sore foot at 43. Don't love that. Don't really love any Panthers, honestly. I mean, 4th round, 12 points per game. And I know he's a rookie, but I don't know, not too exciting. Adams goes. So yeah, let's grab Loveland here. Maybe Burden. No, maybe just people hate the Bears in this draft. We can get Burden as well at 52. Otherwise, could grab Lamar. Could grab Swift. Burden goes to the 2 hole. Danglemore has Gibbs, Olave, Smith, JMO. So they got a little Lions double stack. I'm sure they wanted Burden. Honestly, haven't seen Burden fall this far in a while. Swift goes to them, so they do get some week 17 there. DJ Moore goes. See what JB Dawson does here. They have the Rams double stack. They take Lamar. Okay. So there goes that possibility. Let's go ahead and grab Mike Evans here. He's a pretty good pick. 5th round. Just drafting alpha receivers in this team like that. Some running backs we like, 69 and 76, I'm sure. And then potentially could be a Brock Purdy team, which is always nice. We'll say I don't think I've seen Jaden Daniels in the 5th round this season, so Sergeant Rocket grabs him to pair with Scary Terry, but probably could have waited around to get him at 66. But, you know, nothing wrong with securing your stack there. I've done this a couple times too with this Minnesota and Jets pairing. I've had a lot of Jane Daniels with that because Washington does play Minnesota in week 16, so seems like he kind of is drafting some correlations for sure. So far it seems like a pretty sharp room compared to the usual Draftkings, which, you know, typically there's a wild card or two in each draft. Guess we'll see what more family does. If you just, I mean, starting 5 running backs is pretty interesting. And then he just goes unstacked Burrow. Okay, so we found the wild card in the draft. More family. Could be maybe a family pet clicking the mouse. Just getting a bunch of random players, so maybe it's a family computer out in the living room and the cat is on the keyboard making the picks. Seems pretty reasonable. So we definitely need some running backs. Would have liked Judkins for sure in the 6th round. But there's a bunch of guys coming up here. We almost certainly will not take Chuba Hubbard, but could bring up another. Probably will take 2 running backs here, honestly. Guess Drake May too. Probably makes sense to grab May here. Kind of forgot we have AJ Brown. Be nice if we could get May and then maybe Ramondre. Caleb also available. We could potentially try to push one of those 2 guys around. I guess Caleb would go to the Burden drafter for sure, or the Swift drafter, I'm guessing. Chuba Hubbard goes. But, I mean, otherwise we're going to be pulling up a running back anyway that probably is available. So let's just go ahead and grab May. See if we can get Ramondre at 76. I think getting him past ADP is pretty good. Could set up a Purdy May room at quarterback, which would be very strong 2 quarterback team. It's got Michael Wilson at 70. So Stevenson goes to F. Callahan. That's all right. We still have Caleb's still out there too, but we still have Pollard and Harvey and Warren come back around to us. Caleb at 76 would be a nice pick. We'll see. I bet F. Callahan probably grabs him here. He does. All right. Makes our decision pretty easy here. All right. So Sutton goes. All right. So we can. Let's do Tony Pollard. do think he's a pretty good pick there at 76. It's kind of between him or Jalen Warren, but I think Pollard probably has a little more upside. So let's see where Brock Purdy is a good spot to get here. 98, so ADP. So he should be available to us at 93. We can either see what our third running back option would look like, or probably push him around, but this Dan Gilmore guy could grab him with the Philly correlation as well. So guess we'll see what the opportunity cost is. So Jalen Warren still has not been drafted. Rico Dowdle actually goes over him, so that's pretty interesting. I feel like you don't see that too often, especially on Draftkings, you know, with the point PPR, point per reception. The camera's a lot of focus here. I don't know if that's helping. Didn't seem like it. Hopefully it'll come back. There we go. The old paper trick worked. So we'll check in our friend Moore family over there, the cat drafting on the keyboard. They went with Mekhi Lemon as their receiver 1 and grabbed Harold Fannin. So starting to check some boxes for other positions besides running back. So well done by the family cat. We'll continue to monitor the draft for more family. I'm sure everyone is interested. An early Baker Mayfield sighting at 87. This guy has a fairly large Buccaneer stack going here. Godwin, Bucky, Igbuka, and Mayfield. So Jalen Warren would be great here if he can get one more pick past Jeffrey Weasel. We'd feel really good about our team then. All right, thank you. Thank you, Jeffrey. Grab a running back 3. We'll see if we can get Purdy to come all the way around to us, or if Dan Gilmore wants to do maybe some week 17 correlating. Sometimes it's hard to get Purdy to come around just because people do like to do like Purdy, Pearsall. Very similar to the Hertz Lemon stack that you see a lot of times. That's why, you know, the one hole I like to get a little different because I do see a lot of the same builds over there. Grabs Laporta. It's probably good odds that we... Okay, so he does a stack, but it's not Purdy, so it's Goff, Laporta, and Gibbs, and JMO. So got some pretty big stacks forming in this room here, which is fine. But yeah, Warren at 93 was pretty huge for us because got a pretty stacked team here. If we get Purdy at 100, it's going to feel really good. So Jeremiah Love goes 98. Pitts. All right, perfect. So we did get Brock Purdy as well. So got our second quarterback. Probably stop there because May and Purdy's pretty good. We have Jeremiah Love, Tony Pollard, and Jalen Warren, and then Colson Loveland as our tight end anchor. And we have Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, and Mike Evans. Really good start. You know, I guess Baker was a pretty big reach for Coop. And then Dowdle also really helped us because, you know, typically Warren goes there and probably would have had to click on Dowdle at 93, but, you know, a couple people are helping us. And then we got the family cat clicking buttons over there too. So thank you to everyone here who's helped this start out for us. Wonder if our 555 draft has moved at all. Doesn't look like it. All right, so now quarterback's starting to fly off the board a little bit. So we got Kyler ahead of ADP, Tyler Shuck ahead of ADP. Do you like to see that after we just took quarterback? Our team's super balanced, 2-3-3-1, so we can kind of do whatever. Coming back around over here. I mean, we could do Pearsall. Not the greatest news on Pearsall. He's been kind of in and out of OTAs. Still would take him here at 117 for sure, but he goes at 108 to the family cat, and then they also take Xavier Worthy. So the cat is starting to add some receivers. So getting a little more responsible. Daniel Jones at 111 is a very huge reach, but we are talking about the guy who has like 5 Buccaneers as well, so he's been reaching pretty heavily here. So we do like to see that. So maybe these night drafts are better than we gave it credit for earlier. So everyone's got at least, well, everyone's got at least one quarterback. There is 4 people who are waiting for tight end late, it looks like, so that'll be interesting to watch. Zambo, Jeffrey Weasel, Coop, and Acrosi all are waiting. I'm sure Coop is going to take Cade Otton to go along with his mega Buccaneer stack. I'm not sure what he's going to do about his Colts option because Warren is gone, but we'll see. This Zambo guy has a 1-2-7 build going. Interesting. I mean, Jacoby Myers seems like a gift here at 117 that we will gladly accept. Could have been Brooks, would have been a nice pick as well, but I think I prefer a receiver there. I guess at this point in the draft, it's just, like we said, we built out our stacks that we like. Kind of just take some values here. Could grab Romeo Dubs as a double stack with May. Also could get Kincaid as our second tight end. He goes. We could get Rashad White as a fourth running back. Probably would do that, honestly. We feel better about our receiver room, I think, at this point. Jordan Mason goes. So yeah, let's go ahead. Where did JCM go? He went at 114. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab Rashad White here. Keep the balance theme going here. With our fourth running back to go with our fourth receiver. Guess we'll see if, we can get a fall on maybe like Mark Andrews. Would be nice to give us a Raven to go along with Chase, because we are right next to the Lamar drafter, so it's possible, but probably not, because there are a couple guys on the right side missing a tight end, so probably be double tapping here pretty soon at some point. So just kind of that range, the 130s, where tight ends start to look good versus the other options. So Romeo does fall to 129. It's a pretty good pick. Thought about it, but just feel like our receiver room, Chase, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, and Myers, it's definitely stronger than Jeremiah Love, Tony Pollard, and Jalen Warren. So felt like getting a pass catching running back. Rashad White was a little better in that situation. Also, he does pair well with Jacoby for week 17, so it's probably the deciding factor there. Was just corollary, bring back to a game versus a double stack. Especially because Hunter Henry could, find his way out of this team potentially as a tight end 2 maybe, as our double stack if we want to go that route. So Andrews does go to the Cat drafter. He also grabs Bryce Young unstacked, so the family cat has not learned about stacking yet in best ball. Have to teach him that one. Unless they're big Yoshi Voss fans, or maybe like Xavier Legette, Chris Brazel, Jatavian Sanders maybe. So Diggs goes at 134. McMillan goes as well. Two of our favorite receivers to click in this range. Malik Willis also is still lingering. We don't need a third quarterback, but it'd be hard to pass on him at 141. We'll see if he makes it over here. One guy has 3 quarterbacks, the other guy has 2. Then we have 2 guys that have 1 quarterback. So I'm guessing one of these 2. Sure, we'll take Willis, but Concepcion also goes at 136. He's kind of, like I said earlier, he's kind of falling a little bit. So Willis does go to Sporting Kid. It's a fine quarterback 2 to go with Dak. He's got a pretty good draft going here. Would have also taken Likely. It's a good fall on him, 139. Don't draft a lot of Jaden Higgins, but he probably looks the best right now. About 9 spots after ADP. Let's grab Jaden Higgins. Does correlate with Myers in week 15. Guess we could grab like Hunter Henry here or Gadsden. Probably would just do the double stack. I don't have a lot of Hunter Henry. Probably would pull him ahead of Gadsden, especially because I don't have any Chiefs. But we'll see who's available here. There's not really any running backs. I mean, I guess Keaton Mitchell. But I do think a second tight end would feel good at this point. Probably going to be a 3 tight end team. Two quarterbacks. I guess we could either do like 7 running backs or 8, or I'm sorry, 9 receivers. If we go 6 running backs. I want to do 7 running backs, since our receiver room is definitely the strongest part of the team. So Omar Cooper goes. So we do have our pick here. Sadiq, Gadsden. Just grab Hunter Henry. Give Drake May a double stack. Don't have any Denver bringbacks yet for our New England stuff, so don't mind one of the late guys. Probably drafting a little bit of all of them. Do kind of like Pat Bryant. He looked pretty good last year, but I also kind of prefer, well, not prefer, I would just say I want to get a little more of Mims. I feel like he goes undrafted the most out of the 3, so I think that means something. Be lower owned for sure, which is nice. Pat Bryant probably has the most upside, just, you know, he's contingent obviously probably on, you know, Cortland Sutton getting traded or injured. Feels like Troy Franklin, you know, most of his work's probably going to just go to Waddle. Pat Bryant's kind of the backup to Sutton. Mims will probably play. They're all going to rotate in and out, different Sean Payton-esque stuff, but I think Mims is a good best ball pick. Just he'll have some spike weeks. You know, doesn't really go drafted, so last pick. If he has 1 spike week, be happy with that. He also was the guy you needed in week 17 before. I think it was that like 2 years ago maybe? I think it was with Chase too. Was that Bengals Denver game? It's a pretty wild one. So he already has the pedigree to be the guy you need in week 17. And we already have Chase, who I think had a couple touchdowns in that game. Might have been T. Higgins outscored him a little bit, but yeah, 30-24. Yeah, T. Higgins had 11 for 131, 3 touchdowns. Chase still had a good game, 9 for 102. Marvin Mims, 8 for 103 and 2. So definitely the guys you needed in week 17. Two years ago. A little bit different NFL though. That was a more high scoring season for sure than what we're anticipating 2026 to be, but you never know. Alright, so looks like a lot of tight ends are going off the board here. Brenton Strange is still out there. Normally take Boston a lot here. I think we're going to do Trey Tucker though, because I would like to get a Las Vegas Raider to go with Jeremiah Love. It feels pretty good for that week 17 game. They'll probably grab a running back coming around. Maybe Dylan Sampson. Could bring up Sean Tucker a bit too. Go with the Tucker stack. So Ridley goes 169. Seems like Dang Gilmore is also doing a Tennessee stack. So a lot of heavy stackers in this lobby, which I think is helping us because we're getting some pretty good values on guys. Could grab Jonah Coleman as well as our week 172. Let's do that. Maybe we'll go double Bronco on this team. Don't draft a lot of Jonah Coleman, but you know, don't hate him. I think on this team where it's kind of like it's a weird build. It's like a hero rookie running back build a little bit. I think a lot of these teams are going to have Harvey, you know, maybe at 93 or 76. So you think getting Jonah Coleman on this type of build is a nice leverage spot. It's either gonna be him or Dylan Sampson. So. So our boy Coop now has, let's see, how many Buccaneers does this guy have? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Buccaneer players. Pretty much the whole team. The Moore family cat is starting to draft better, grabbing a lot of receivers. The issue is, well, I guess I forgot they have Burrow unstacked, but they also have Bryce Young unstacked, Tua Tagovailoa unstacked. So maybe 3 of the worst rushing quarterbacks in the league unstacked. So not the greatest drafter, but probably is an animal, so give him a break. They're just clicking buttons on a keyboard. Only so much that they can really do. They don't even know what week 17 is. But they have a very nice running back room. So 80 Mitchell goes at 185. One of our favorite late guys is gone. Still have Dylan Sampson, Bigsby, and Tucker here. All those probably would lean Bigsby just for the week 17 with our Niners. Didn't get Stribling on this team, so we might want to grab Christian Kirk as a double for Brock. Also, wouldn't mind a third tight end of either Ferguson or Dulcich. So Njoku goes. I think this is going to be a 7 running back team. So let's make this a Bigsby team with our 17 correlation. So I think this is going to be 2, 7, 8, 3. Just because I really like the receiver room a lot. So I think, and then when we start out with Jeremiah Lowe as kind of our hero back, it does make me feel like we need 7. Got a couple, obviously Love's one of the higher upside guys there is, honestly. But, Pollard, Warren, and White kind of are what they are. And then Jonah Coleman, probably an injury away from relevance. And obviously Tank Bigsby's the same boat, so need to add those guys on these types of builds. We'll probably do, Sean Tucker's gone now, so probably could do like Kalon Black later, or Jaden Blue. I think this would be a good spot for Dulcich, which would open up some late Bills correlations as maybe some late dart throw receivers, which we like. And then if we don't get Dulcich, I think we'll just grab Ferguson. The Malik drafter has 3 tight ends, but actually 3 really good tight ends, so he definitely is not going to take Dulcich, but somebody else probably would. This is where he's starting to go now, 196. It's been a riser. I think he's a very good third tight end. And I do like the late Bills kind of dart throws, so it does open that up. Could even take both of them, potentially. So let's grab Dulcich. So 2, 6, 6, 3. We're going to do 1 more running back and then 2 receivers. We'll see what, probably grab a running back in the 18th round. Could also be Ray Davis or Marshawn Lloyd, potentially. Lloyd would give us a Packer to go along with Jaden Higgins, and also week 15 with Dulcich. We'll see what happens here. Got a lot of options, and then like I said, we'll probably do a Bill, maybe Keon. Maybe this is maybe this is more of a Scholar Bell team actually. Maybe 237, and then still hope that Christian Kirk could fall to us. Dontavian Wicks wouldn't be bad either as another Eagle bring back. Malachi Fields also do want a little exposure, more exposure to him. Black. Not sure if Black really profiles as much of a receiver, but if he he does become the number 2 back, he's going to be catching some passes for sure. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, CMC goes down. Whoever is stepping in there is going to be relevant for fantasy for sure. So more family does grab Brazel, so and Gesicki, so they are backstacking their quarterbacks. So we do have some stacks for the Moore family. Maybe the Moore family cat read up on some stacking in between picks and, you know, found some guys to click on here. Could be a Jahan Dotson, Tua, late stack as well. They are also correlating some San Francisco with Philly. Malachi Fields goes. Rare P only has one tight end of Bowers, which obviously is a good one, but we'll see. I guess who they tack on late. Maybe like a Michael Mayer, maybe back up their tight end stack or something, or Evan Ingram. That other guy on the New Orleans that people draft sometimes, can't remember his name. So Lloyd goes, Davis goes. So a couple of flurries of running backs. Let's see. Guy to our left only has 4 running backs, so probably is going to take one. I could take Christian Kirk here, which I probably will. So double stack that for Purdy. He's a good click at 213. And then see if Blue or Kalen Black make it to us, and then probably going to be a Skylar Bell 20th round receiver. Could be Justice Hill team too, because we do have Chase and no Ravens. Don't mind him on Draftkings. I mean, obviously he's not super exciting. He goes anyway, but you know, could be a help to Jeremiah Love for a couple weeks till he kind of establishes himself in the backfield. Oscar Delp, that was who I was thinking of for Rare P. Could be an Oscar Delp boy over here. So Chris Brooks goes. All right, didn't want him. So looks like we're going to get one of our running backs for sure. Either Blue or Black. Probably just stick with San Francisco theme and grab Black as our 7th running back here. Might as well just keep that stack going here. All right, so Black is our 7th running back. So Jeremiah Love, Tony Pollard, Jalen Warren, Rashad White, Jonah Coleman, Tank Bigsby, and Kalen Black. So it's a pretty fine 7 running back team. May and Purdy, both pretty heavily stacked. May with Brown and Hunter Henry, and then Purdy with Evans, Christian Kirk, and Black, Kalen Black. And then I think we'll end with Buffalo Bill bring back to Dulcich. Got Tank Bigsby as a Eagle bring back. We have Jonah Coleman as our New England bring back. We have Trey Tucker correlated with Jeremiah Love. Pollard and Warren correlated. And Myers and White correlated. So pretty much our whole team is correlated. And really just Jaden Higgins and Colson Loveland are the odd men out for week 17, but that is perfectly okay. So the Moore family cat is losing out on some potentially stacked partners late. Do you have Jahan Dotson or Olmidi Zacchaeus for some late Tua stacks? They have a 3-5-7-3. Interesting to see who their late run targets are. So Pat Bryant goes. That was one of our potential Denver guys. We could also take Marvin Mims here. We thought about that to go along with the Patriots. Because Skylar Bell does go sometimes. Also, I mean, I'm surprised Keon hasn't gone yet. Also surprised that Troy Franklin, he's usually the first kind of... Okay, Yoshi Voss, we called that one with Burrow, so definitely an interesting Burrow team. Yoshi Voss and Gesicki. Brandon Ayuk at 230. Feels like a decent selection in the 20th round. Probably doesn't play football though. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But I don't hate him in the final round. I mean, if I'm debating between like Keon Coleman, Marvin Mims, and Skylar Bell, you know, Brandon Ayuk is not a bad pick. Surprised Terrence Ferguson has not been drafted either. Obviously don't need a fourth tight end in this team, but it's weird to see him not drafted. Dawson Knox over him should be a crime. This guy has a weird build. He has 4 tight ends, likely Gadsden, Juwan, and Dawson Knox. I guess he does have Allen, but... So Ferguson finally goes to Rare P as his second tight end, so actually worked out for him. Bowers, Ferguson. We have a Greg Dortch sighting and Carson Beck. So no one's helped me out by taking some players that I mentioned here. Probably just going to be Keon Coleman because 20 picks past ADP is pretty good on him. I mean, my receiver room has plenty of upside anyway, so I'm not worried about, you know, having to draft a exciting guy here. Keon's pretty exciting. Nico Remigio sighting to Jeffrey Weasel. Maybe special teams points? Alright, let's grab Coleman. We talked ourselves into him. I guess Thornton went 217, so maybe that's why Jeff Weasel just needed to get a piece of that offense to go with. I mean, maybe. I guess hoping to make the team there. Right now, Remigio looks like making the roster, but projected, but as the 6th receiver after Jalen Royals and Cyrus Allen. So probably not a lot of good fantasy goodness to go around. Jalen Knowles a good pick at 240 or 239. All right, let's read off the team here. So 2783. We got Chase, AJ Brown, Jeremiah Love, Colson Loveland, Mike Evans, Drake May, Tony Pollard, Jalen Warren, Brock Purdy, Jacoby Myers at 117 was a nice fall there. Rashad White, Jaden Higgins, also a nice fall on him. Hunter Henry, Trey Tucker, Jonah Coleman, Tank Bigsby, Greg Dulcich, Christian Kirk, Kalen Black, and Keon Coleman. So, very good team. Running back room, obviously needs. Well, I think it's actually fine. It should be fine for early on, and then obviously Jeremiah Love, a little late season surge from him, and then receiver room's great. Quarterbacks are great. Tight ends feel very good about, and then as we mentioned earlier, pretty much whole team is correlated for week 17 besides I think 2 guys. So it's a good squad. So thank you to some of these drafters who allowed us to get a lot of falls on some good guys. So I would say the DraftKings night drafts are a success. All right, well, it's going to end it for the stream here. Thanks for anyone who, watched along or is going to watch this back later. Should be back tomorrow or Wednesday with probably head over to Underdog. We like to alternate between the 2 sites, but yeah. Everybody has a good evening and good luck on your drafts.